Hello, Gaurav sir. Hi, Gaurav sir. How are you? Can you hear me? Gaurav sir, can you hear me? Gaurav sir? Gaurav sir, am I audible to you? Am I audible to you all? देखना ऑन करना एक बार. Hello. Am I audible? गौरव सर का आवाज ही नहीं जा रही है.
Yes, ma'am.
Girls, all the students, a warm welcome to you all. But then listen to me one. Hello, girls, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
आपको सिर्फ सुनना है. ठीक है, क्वेश्चनिंग का राउंड आपको एंड में मिलेगा. यू विल नॉट टच एनीथिंग ऑन योर स्क्रीन. अभी कोई प्रेजेंट कर रहा था, प्लीज डोंट डू दैट व्हाइल रिसोर्स पर्सन इज प्रेजेंटिंग समथिंग. ओके, डोंट टच एनीथिंग ऑन योर सिस्टम. आपने सिर्फ स्पीकर्स चालू कर लीजिए सो दैट यू आर एबल टू हियर एंड कीप योरसेल्फ ऑन म्यूट मोड. ओके, आपको जो क्वेश्चंस पूछने हो रिसोर्स पर्सन से, वो एंड में हम लोग एक टाइम स्लॉट सेट करेंगे. ठीक है बच्चों?
Yes, ma'am.
बीच में स्क्रीन पे कुछ छेड़ाछाड़ी मत करना प्लीज. अभी किसी ने प्रेजेंट कर दी थी स्क्रीन. दिस क्रिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. वील बिगिन इन 5 minutes. ओके,
Dr. Preeti, can you hear me?
yeah, Gaurav sir, can you hear me now? Gaurav sir, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. I'm
No
not sure.
problem, no problem at all. No problem at all. So, shall we begin in 2 minutes?
I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah.
Dr. Sharma, are we going to wait a little? If we need to,
Yeah, so we are starting with it, Gaurav sir. Okay.
so I'll just wait for your signal.
Yeah. So my student anchor is starting it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jahanvi Singh from BA Second Year, Student Coordinator of Abhivyakti Club. It gives me immense pleasure to extend to you all a very warm welcome on behalf of Kanodia College, who has clubbed all of us for a workshop on public speaking skills. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we have some of them here to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our speaker, Mr. Gaurav Maheshwari, Vice President of Learning and Development at JP Morgan, Director of our college, Madam Dr. Rashmi Chaturvedi, Principal Madam Dr. Seema Agarwal, Vice Principal Commerce Madam Dr. Sarla Sharma, Vice Principal Science Madam Dr. Ratna Saxena, Vice Principal Arts Madam Dr. Deeptima Shukla, Dean of Infrastructure Madam Dr. Ranjula Jain, and all the other teachers. Welcome you, sir. As the legend Aristotle himself said, man by nature is a social animal. We may conclude that communication is the backbone of our society, and public speaking is one of the most important and most dreaded forms of communication. Glossophobia, or speech anxiety, is the most common fear people have across the globe. Throughout primary school, it is easy to be the student who sits in the back of the classroom and avoids raising his or her hand to dodge such situations. But in the working world, public speaking is a vital skill to have and to hone, as it can have an enormous impact on your career path. What if you could deliver an amazing presentation every time you were called upon? What if you had the power to deliver exactly what you wanted whenever you wanted? To help us with this, we have Sir Mr. Gaurav Maheshwari. Sir Gaurav is a seasoned talent development professional with 15 years of rich experience in catering to diverse learning needs in industries such as global investment banking, IT, and e commerce. Mr. Gaurav has led the talent development efforts for significantly sized employee based for firms such as Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan Chase Bank and Company, Arison Technologies, Tata Consultancy Services, and CarDekho.com within India and overseas. He has also been an entrepreneur and has a treasure of learning accumulated from his experiences. In these assignments, he has played the pivotal role in setting up learning and leadership development functions, as well as designing and stabilizing talent development frameworks. He has been lauded by his stakeholders for his exceptional public speaking skills, sharp design thinking, and focused ideation and execution skills. Mr. Gaurav has rich academic pedigree with a bachelor's degree in science, a master's degree in business management, a master's degree in psychology, a diploma in training and development from Indian Society for Training and Development, and various renowned certificates in behavioral training such as the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People from Franklin Covey Institute. He is also a certified trainer from National Skill Development Corporation under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which he uses extensively for startup mentoring. He is also a PhD candidate researching in the space of organizational behavior and its impact on learning. He is also currently serving as a member of Management Committee for Indian Society for Training and Development, where he contributes to improve and enhance the training ecosystem in India. He is passionate about volunteering and is currently serving as an area director of Toastmasters International, where he is responsible for leading multiple Toastmasters communities. He is also an award winning competitive speaker at Toastmaster International, having won 15 plus speeches contest over the past 5 years. We are pleased to have you here, sir. I would now like to request Madam Dr. Preeti to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Janvi. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Gaurav Maheshwari. Thank you, sir, for accepting the invitation at one go. Gaurav sir is more of a friend to me. I've been knowing him from pretty long time, and I'm so happy to see him progressing in this public speaking forum. And along with this public speaking, he has an amazing sense of humor, and probably that is why we could gel together pretty well. Where we used to work together initially in the years when we started our career with. So, as it has been rightly said, that if you can speak well, you can influence, and if you can influence, you can change lives. And I've been seeing Gaurav sir changing a lot of lives, and he's a great influencer. And I welcome you once again, Mr. Gaurav, and I welcome all the students. Without you, things would not be possible at all. So, thank you, students, for being a part of Abhivyakti Club, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot from this forum today. And we'll get you in touch with a lot of such intellectual people who can help you in developing your public speaking skills. Thank you once again, and I would not take much of the time because we are so eager to hear to our resource person for today. He has a lot to give us today in the form of enhancing your confidence level in public speaking. Thank you once again.
I once again, with special excitement, welcome you, sir. Over to you now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Preeti, all the teachers, management staff, and the students. And thank you, Janvi, for such a warm welcome. This definitely puts a lot of pressure on me, and I'm nervous now. So we would like to make this interaction very informal, and we would like to foster an environment of learning. And I don't come in this forum thinking that there is something that I can teach you. Definitely not. But I'm going to be sharing some of my experiences, and probably you're all smart people and you can all pick from those experiences. So let's get started. So I just said that I'm feeling nervous. Have you ever, others, my question is to the students, have you also felt nervous when speaking to a large group of people? I can see that there are almost 50 participants in this room today. Anybody who can share an experience when they felt nervous? I can already see a hand up. Anushka, could you, please unmute yourself and go ahead. And it'll be great if you can all turn on your cameras, so I'm not talking to an empty wall, but to people.
Actually, I cannot because I'm already.
If it is possible, yeah, that's okay. Anushka, please go ahead.
Actually, it was when I was in 12th, we had that farewell, and after that, we have to give a speech in front of the students. And it was the first time when I was standing before so many people and all of the teachers of the school. So, what I prepared was a long script, and I forget it all.
Okay.
I didn't remember anything. It was like white blank.
It's a truly scary feeling, right? When you are
Yeah.
against in front of a large
Although
crowd.
I had my friend with me, like we were two people on the stage at once. So
Yes.
given 2 minutes each.
Okay.
So yeah, she spoke.
I can still hear the anxiety in your voice, right, from that experience,
Yes,
because it
I
is,
am kind of introvert.
yeah. Uh, and whether you're introvert or extrovert, you're never prepared enough to face this situation. It is always scary to stand up and speak in front of
That's
people.
why now I keep trying in the different webinars and all.
That's very good. That's very good, and that's exactly how you get the practice. So this is exactly how I'm feeling today. So we would like to keep it very interactive, right? Okay, and I have a short presentation to share with you that I will start sharing just in a moment. I hope you can see my presentation. Can you see it? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So let's get started. All right. So every time I have been in a classroom, and my job requires me to go to classrooms all the time, virtually or physically. Every time I go to any such classrooms, I usually meet four types of participants, and there has never been an exception. Okay. So what are these four types? The first type, as you can see, are prisoners, people who were brought to that room because it is important and they need to get attendance credit, or probably their teacher said go attend this webinar, it's mandatory to attend it or something like that, and they don't want to be there, but it is a compulsion, so they feel like a prisoner and they feel detached. They really don't want to be in that room at that time, and they would rather be doing something else, but there they are, and there's nothing wrong about that. The second type of participant are the holidays, right? When you are doing regular studies or regular work for a long time and you want a break, so sometimes you go attend some sort of a training or a talk or a webinar, and that is kind of a holiday style, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. The third are what I call the sponges, and sponges absorb information. They make lots of notes. Sometimes at the end of a workshop, they would ask you for the presentation or some additional material or some books that they want to read about the subject, and they absorb a lot of information, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. And the last ones are the learners, as I like to call them. So the learners are there to advance their skills or learn new information or new knowledge and actually apply. So I'm not going to ask you how you were feeling this morning when you logged in, whether you were feeling like a prisoner or a holiday or a sponge or a learner. But my ambition from this next 45 minutes is that by the time we finish, all of you are able to learn one or two things that you can actually go back and apply. Right? And for that to happen, it will be extremely important that you pay attention, you raise your questions, and if you have to disagree with me, you do that, and we challenge each other. Right? So that's how we are going to reach some learning results. Okay, so let's get talking. So why is public speaking an important skill to have? And I can see that you formed a club, Abhivyakti, and all of you are actively engaged. So what led you to even devote time to an activity like this? Why is it important for you? Anyone can unmute and answer, please.
So, because speaking is important everywhere, we need to express ourselves in almost all the spheres of our life.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Sir, be it any job or anywhere, even while we talk to a vegetable seller or while we talk to professionals, we always need communication skills. We need speaking power.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely correct. That's absolutely right. So it is important, and it's a life skill. It's not even a special kind of a skill. I consider this as a life skill that everyone should have, and it is important to have it in various walks of life. For example, you may be working on a class project where you're making a presentation, or you're working with a large group of people where you have to guide them, lead them, influence them, and all of those kind of activities. It may also be directly important for your jobs, for your careers, for your internship presentations, etc. It is also important for places like this, forums like this, where you have a club meeting or you formed an organization, there's an event that's happening, and you want to raise your voice, you want your presence to be observed, and that is why it is important. And it goes a long way. After a certain levels in our careers, public speaking skills become really, really important. Until up to, say, middle management, it is important to have technical skills or functional skills or the hard skills. But after a certain point, it becomes important for you to also be able to lead people. And to lead people, you need, the ability to influence with your public speaking skills. So I want to talk about a little bit of my journey, and then we'll talk about some of my experiences. And probably you can pick one or two things from there so that you can also apply those. Okay, so this picture that you see on your screen. This was in 2021 July this year. This was in Kolkata, where it was a Toastmasters event. I'm sure many of you would have heard about it. If you've not heard about Toastmasters, please look it up on the internet. There are tons of videos out there and lots of information that can help you. It's a global organization. It's a non-for-profit that's meant for people to work on their, it's designed for people to work on their communication skills and leadership skills. So there was an award ceremony, and I joined a few other Toastmasters leaders from India to receive an award. I also happen to deliver training for the district officers of Toastmasters, and these are all great public speakers already. So I was very nervous in this event, and I received an award that evening. So I was the one that was the most underdressed for the evening. I didn't think the Kolkata weather allowed suits, so there I was. This is a recognition of service that I received for my contribution as an area director for Toastmasters International. And it was a great evening. And this was in 2020, February 2020, before COVID struck us. And I was a winner in a table topic speech contest, and I received a few other awards. In 2019 November, I was in Udaipur receiving this award at our conference called Convergence 2019, and I received this award for my contribution. Here is another award from the same event. This was early in 2019 when I was a winner at a humorous speech contest. And while Dr. Sharma said I have a great sense of humor, it is really difficult to crack jokes when you're standing in front of people. It is difficult to get them to laugh, and I was thankfully able to do that. And I was a winner at that contest. It's a really difficult one because participants from almost 30 different Toastmasters clubs were competing. This was in 2018, almost towards the end of 2018, when I received 2 awards. Again for a speech contest. This was in the beginning of 2018 when I received an award again for a humorous speech contest that you see here, and a few other awards. Again, this was from 2018, and these are some of the other awards that I have received for public speaking. And these were all the awards that I had by 2019. Now there are a lot more. I don't have a recent picture, but yeah, these were all awards for public speaking or contribution as a Toastmaster. So it has been a really fun last 4 years for me. But what did you notice when you saw those different awards? Did you notice something?
Yes, sir. May I?
Yes, please.
Sir, your brown shoes.
Sorry, I couldn't catch that.
Sir, your brown colored shoes.
Yeah, okay, you noticed the brown color shoes. That's great. Okay, what else?
Sir, those all awards were for public speaking.
Yes. Okay. Anything else, anyone? Okay, the streak that I wanted you to notice is the chronology, and you would notice that when you start doing well at something, it becomes easy, right? So once you start winning, you start a winning streak, and then everything is easy, right? But it is difficult before it is easy. It is hard before it is easy, and that is what I want all of you to remember. Many of you may feel that it is very difficult to be a good public speaker, and it's a lot of work. Yes, it is a lot of work, but once you get the hang of it, once you understand what are the components of a winning speech or a good public speaking speech, a good public speech that has an impact over people, you somehow know the formula, and then it is easy, right? So let's talk about what the formula is. And that formula is the 10 ways to improve your public speaking skills. And these are not based on somebody's research, but this is based on my own experience. And I've just put it down like the 10 commandments, if you will. Right. So the first way to improve your public speaking skills is to, first of all, establish your credibility. Give your audience reason to trust you on what you're saying. It is our biggest fear, right? The fear of rejection. When we are speaking in front of a group of people, we are conscious that people are noticing what we are saying, and they are making some sort of a perception about us, and probably they are rejecting us, or they are not accepting us, or all those kinds of fears cripple us, and we become weak in the knees, and we lose our confidence, and all sorts of bad things happen. And that is why this is the most important thing: establish your credibility. So how can you establish your credibility? Anyone, any thoughts?
Be relatable.
Okay, can you explain with an example? I'm a fan of examples. I'm very slow to learn, right? I'm slow to learn. So if unless you give me an example, I don't register.
See, as of you asked that why, like the previous question, that why we need to actually speak in front of people, like why we need this skill. Okay, so I think relatable, like okay, this is all like I find this cliche at job opportunities, internships, but like normal, even if I'm at a wedding and I want to raise a toast for my sister, like I have to stand there and actually stand in front of many people and speak what I want to speak. So I mean, even in the open mics, you have to be relatable. Then only people will actually trust you, and then they will, once they start relating with you, they will actually start listening to you. Even if you speak rubbish, like it's not important that you will speak everything that is refined. Even if you speak rubbish in between, they will laugh with you. They will accept you the way you are.
Be
So
more forgiving of
yeah,
your mistakes. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's really good. And did you notice if I did something to establish my credibility with you today? Did I say something? Did I show you something? Or did I do something that made me credible?
yes, sir. First, you acknowledged your fear of you had while addressing the public, but then you showed your awards that you have achieved over the years by improving your skill.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. I gave a really long introduction note to Dr. Sharma, and I told her, please introduce me like this. Yeah. So that was an attempt at establishing credibility with you. So you know that, okay, if somebody is coming to speak with us, he knows what he's saying, right? Because he has the credentials to support that. He knows what he's saying. And it is extremely important. Then I showed you some of my awards. I showed you picture evidence that probably I know what I'm saying. And that made credibility. So your credibility is extremely important. If somebody that you don't look up to is talking, probably you're not paying attention. But if somebody that you believe is a credible person and they know what they are saying, you're most likely you're going to listen to them very carefully, and that works with everyone. So how can you establish your credibility? There are some things that will come with only age. For example, your education qualifications or your working experience or some of your achievements will only come with age. But what else can you do to establish your credibility with your audience? Any ideas, thoughts, suggestions? Of course, choosing a topic that is relatable, of course. But other than that, speech is secondary. The first is speaker. So how do they trust the speaker? How do they
Being
trust that?
confident.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Being confident.
Okay, being confident. It is easier said than done, right? If it was so easy to be confident, all of us would choose to be confident. Isn't that true? Yeah. So how can you be confident? What will give you confidence?
Having the knowledge for the topic you're
Okay.
speaking.
So excellent. So confidence is a broad subject, and it's a fact. It's a result of a lot of different factors, right? For example, knowing your subject will make you confident, but if your shirt has a stain, it will put a dent in your confidence. Right? So there are many factors. I think There is some echo happening. If you could please mute your lines, unless you are asking a question. Thank you. That will be great. Also, showing or displaying in some way that you know what you're saying. For example, if you choose a subject, giving a little bit of background to why you chose this subject, why it is important for you, what research have you done. For example, if your speech is about, say, uh, education for girl children, girl child education in India. Okay, and if you're speaking about that subject, of course, because it is a subject that is close to your heart, and you have lived that life and you've experienced it, and that is why you'll be credible. But for example, if you are choosing a subject that's not directly related with you, it will be important to show what research you've done, how have you prepared for that talk, and not sometimes directly telling them how you prepared, but also building that into your talk. topic is, right? Because then it shows the audience that you are connected with the subject at a personal level, and that not only adds to your credibility but also makes the subject much more relevant for the members of the audience. Okay, all of you would have heard about Mark Twain. He said, it usually takes me more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. Okay, because we all think that impromptu speeches are what you do on your feet. You're given a topic and you speak, and I'm sure you try that in your club as well. But what looks impromptu takes a lot of preparation. So, of course, you don't know the topic in advance. But if you were to make a powerful impromptu speech, you will have to fall back on your experience and the new knowledge, and that you gather before the impromptu speech. So, all of us are exposed to a lot of information on a daily basis, and a lot of learning on a daily basis, but somehow we don't find a way to commit it to our usable information. In terms of whenever you have to deliver an impromptu speech, can you fall back on one of your previous experiences? Can you bring in one of your stories, one of your experiences to make it more powerful? So when we see good speakers speak, it looks like they do it naturally, effortlessly, and it just comes naturally to them, and they don't really have to try hard. But that is not true. All good speakers, even if they make it look natural, they are prepared. And this preparation does not always mean they write their speech and they rehearse and they practice it in front of a camera 10 times, but sometimes this preparation involves thinking about the subject beforehand. So whenever you are making a speech, always put in that kind of effort. And that brings me to my seventh point, which is about practice. And there are no shortcuts to it. So whenever you are making an important presentation or an important talk, it is extremely important to prepare and practice enough times that you become confident about the subject. Think of it like driving. Many of you would have recently started driving. Some of you would have just got your driver's licenses and you've started driving. And think about this experience when you go out, with a vehicle. You're driving a vehicle for the first time, all by yourself. How does it feel? You feel nervous about it, even though you know you earned your license and you know how to operate the vehicle, but you still feel nervous about it. That is because you've not been exposed to that environment, and that makes you nervous. But once you do it for a few times, say maybe 10 times or 20 times, then it becomes easy. It gets easier from there, and then it is no problem at all. After a certain point, it's no problem at all. So that is how practice helps you. So it is extremely important that you always rehearse a lot and make this a habit. Never go into a speech unprepared. Always practice a lot and then deliver it, because that will add to your confidence. So again, in the beginning somebody said we need to be confident to be credible, but we need to actually prepare to be confident. So that's how the relationship is. So we have to really work hard on the preparation bit, and the delivery becomes easy. I know it sounds like common sense, but trust me, I have learned through my experience that this is the only way. There are no shortcuts. Sometimes people will tell you to look confident. You have to fake eye contact, or you look at people's foreheads and not at their eyes, or you look at 3 points in the room and pretend that you're covering the entire audience. But don't pretend, because that doesn't work. The real formula for confidence is preparation. If you're prepared, you'll be confident. And when you are preparing, when you're practicing, pay attention to your voice, to your tone, to the inflection in your voice, to the volume in your voice, and the speed and the pauses, and the filler words. Different kinds of filler words. One of my favorite filler words, and I'm joking when I say it's my favorite, I suffer from it, is I say this a lot and I'm aware of it. So whenever I am practicing a speech, I make sure that I'm not using in my speech. It just comes naturally to me and I'm struggling with it, and I always make sure to keep it out of my speeches. Some people like to say like a lot, and that is another filler, so avoid that. And always pay attention to the difficult parts of your presentation, the parts that make you a little uncomfortable. Pay attention to that and work extra hard on those. It may be some sort of statistics or some data in your presentation that you're making, and make sure that you are that you know that information, like your own life story, right? You should live that data or experience that information as if you know it inside out. So that's extremely important. And I don't know if you've heard of Ken Blanchard. Ken Blanchard is one of the most respected learning and development professionals in the world. He ran an institute called Ken Blanchard Training Institute, and it's from the US. It's one of the highly successful institutes around the world. And he said that feedback is the breakfast of champions. Very often in our real life, we are not able to get feedback. For example, if you are in an informal setting, not like Abhivyakti club, or where you are going there for the purpose of improving your public speaking skills, but in general settings, for example, there is an event in a college and you're making a short speech or some other place, people won't give you feedback. They'll probably judge you for the mistakes that you make, but they won't give you feedback.